GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS Sprint Cup, is back in action this weekend. It's been a long time since we went racing at Brands Hatch, but here we are in the sunshine at Misano. We're by the Adriatic coast. It's always a popular circuit with the drivers, and this weekend they're going to race in sweltering temperatures. One race on Saturday evening heading into the darkness, the other on Sunday, and in Valentino Rossi's backyard, a huge crowd is bound to be on hand. It's another big grid of GT3 supercars ready to go racing for two one-hour sprint races. GT World Challenge Europe has an impressive entry list. For example, Aston Martin has its Vantage, Audi still with that popular and faithful and quick R8 LMS. The BMW M4 has a good strike rate around the Misano circuit, while in endurance, there's the Chevrolet Corvette to factor in. Ferrari could well be a winning brand on home soil, and never rule out the Ford Mustang in endurance races particularly. It makes a fabulous noise. It's a real crowd favourite, as too is the Lamborghini Temerario, getting better all the time, and McLaren's 720S GT3 is capable of winning races. Maybe the benchmark is the Mercedes AMG, but you can never rule out Porsche either. The last action in GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS, and indeed Intercontinental GT Challenge, was the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. 69 GT3 cars for the biggest and best GT3 race in the world.
Let's go racing. To get racing underway, it is going to be Nicholas Nielsen then that makes the best start as they accelerate downhill for the first time with Mara Engel there, almost being squeezed off the road as he tries to get through.
La Young Speed GP qui est basée ici à Francorchamps, elle a une licence allemande, mais elle est basée à Francorchamps.
Porsche wins the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. Lion Speed GP from the pit lane start brings it home as a race-winning team.
From the pit lane to a race win, the Lion Speed GP Porsche of Bastian Buus, Ricardo Feller and Thomas Preining. A week ago, GT World Challenge Asia was in action at Fuji in Japan. It was another enthusiastic crowd and lots of local culture, with the first race being won by the Ferrari of Wei An Chen and Keishu Liu. For race two, there were some big battles going on between BMW, Ferrari and Porsche, and it would be a Porsche that prevailed. Wei Lu and Laurin Heinrich coming through to score the outright race win. All valuable points in that global competition for the manufacturers. So, back in Europe, we're at Misano. We're by the seaside. It's a sprint weekend, so 2 one-hour races around this 4.226 kilometre circuit. There are 16 corners. It's a flat circuit, but there are some fast sections and some slow and tight and twisty bits. And at the end of the lap, an ever-tightening sequence of right-handers before the left at turn 16. It looks like a fairly flat circuit, divided as it is into the 3 sectors, the last of which has that tight 14 and fairly tight 16 within it. But there is a little bit of gradient to the circuit, with an elevation range of 12.9 metres and a maximum camber of 5.5 degrees. Let's take a closer look at the Misano World Circuit in the company of Joe Osborne.
What a circuit it is as we thunder into turn 1. 5th gear is a hard brake just after 100. Over the curb on the right. Some cars need a tap on the brake to hook it into the left. And now we're back to full gas around this long turn 3. We use lots of the apex curb, and then we have to spot a braking point. It's difficult on the left. The grass starting on the left is a nice reference. We V turns 4 and 5 off, trying to make 2 corners into 1. We must then hold to the right tight, so open up 6, full gas through here. And you can see the opportunity this gives us to get the run on the car in front into turn 8 now. One of the best overtaking spots of the lap. It's a 180-degree hairpin, so we must brake hard, and we brake and turn at the same time. We see this causing cars to get oversteer and possibly spin. And now we get this small rise up the hill into 9, into 10. A tricky braking zone because it's not straight. Lots of drivers using the tallest tree ahead as their reference of knowing where to be. Hook up the apex curb if you have some understeer. And now we have the longest and the highest speed part of the track. And what follows is the interesting part of 4 corners for the price of 1. Turn 11 first, easy flat. We saw a big crash here last year. Into 12, this is the first part. We need to brake, slow the car down. The car wants to go left, but we needed to go right for turn 13. And then 14 is the slowest corner of the lap, just 60 kilometers an hour, 2nd gear. Hook it up, full throttle, and we just have 1 more brake to go. But turn 15, a pesky corner, not quite flat, with big curbs on the inside, forcing us out wide. Turn 16, the final chance to get some lap time on the board. Full throttle, careful of using too much exit curb and getting a track limit warning on the exit of this very fast turn 16 exit.
Looking down on the grid then, it is full of cars and full of people. And bearing in mind that we've just been recapping what's been going on in Europe and in Asia, all of that does have this bearing on the global manufacturers' points as well. With points to be scored here at Misano this weekend, that equally is going to have a big bearing on how things will be looking. In terms of manufacturers here, you've got Porsche ahead, Mercedes AMG 2nd, Ferrari 3rd, BMW M 4th, and Audi is in 5th. And we've only had 1 Sprint Cup event within GT World Challenge Europe, and it was a Porsche and Ferrari split in terms of the outright wins there. So it may be that after today, Porsche can increase the advantage just a little. David Addison and Joe Osborne trackside. Bryn Lucas and Nina Jade Paul are down on the grid, and Nina Jade has found Planet Funk, who are in concert here tonight.
Well, welcome to Misano.
Wow, thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, we have a new very special event at Misano this year. So how does it feel to be performing at this unique event tonight?
But it's amazing because there's a great sound in the race, but we hope to have a great sound on the stage.
Absolutely, and same question to you.
Check already, to be honest. I mean, the sound system is amazing, so it's going to be a great festival tonight.
So sound check went well?
Sound check was really, really good. So we're ready to play, ready to go, like here, ready to go.
All right, big party at Misano. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
And that concert to entertain the fans. We were saying earlier on in the day, there's more to come in terms of getting people through the gate. It's not just about racing, it's about entertainment. Valentino Rossi's on pole, he's with Bryn.
What a crowd, what a crowd. I mean, Valet, I know you're used to this sort of surroundings here. Max as well, you've got the eyes on you as well. Valet, great performance in qualifying earlier on. You've won here 3 years in a row. Can you make it 4 and 4?
Yeah, we try. This is the target, but you know, every year is more difficult. But we start from the pole position. The feeling with the car is good. On the quali it was very funny, and now we need to stay concentrate a lot on the start, on the first corners, and on the first moment of the race. Try to keep the position, and after try to push.
And yourself, Max, I mean, you've got a bit of a wait before you get in the car. You'll be watching on nervously, biting those fingernails, I imagine.
Yeah, you know, for us will be challenging because we haven't been in the car since yesterday night, and will be go time once we jump in. But yeah, looking forward to see the first couple of laps. Will be a tough race, I would assume, but looking forward to drive into the sunset.
Vale, you were born not too far away from here, really. Was it 50 kilometres, something like that, if you were to drive? You're used to this area. What's it like for you when you come to these places? You see the fans, the expectation on your shoulders. Four-wheel driver now, as always.
Yeah, you know, this is my track because I live 10 kilometers, and it's also the place where I have more experience with the GT3 cars because I start here. So we see, we try, and we hope that we can be strong.
Buona fortuna.
Max Hesse and Valentino Rossi then, and the cars on pole position thanks purely to Vale. He did the time. It's not a combined time, it's not the average of anything, it is down to him and his right foot alone, and that's his first pole position. So it's quite a special day already.
Yeah, it really is, and it was a phenomenal lap from Vale, and a valid point from Max Hesse. The second driver has not driven today. Yesterday was the last time they're in the car. Imagine any top-level sport where you don't get to warm up. First time you get to practice as you take the limiter off, as you get out straight in the middle of the race.
Now let's get back to the grid. Nina Jade Paul's found another special guest.
Well, Andrea Perillo, you've seen some special cars in your time, but how does the GT grid compare?
It's really, really cool. I mean, 45 cars on the grid is going to be an amazing race. I can't wait. Also, this is like my home GP, you know, because I live next to here, so can't wait to see.
Amazing. And a few words in Italian as it's your home GP.
Yeah, so ciao a tutti, sono Andrea Pirillo, grande appassionato di motori, sono 45 auto in griglia di partenza, secondo me sarà una prima curva molto interessante, dato che abito anche qua vicino, questo è un po' il mio home GP.
Thank you, Andrea. Enjoy the race.
Thank you so much.
Andrea, a very popular influencer in Italy, and coming to see supercars on the grid. And so lots and lots of people as well, which is great to see. I was saying a little earlier that a couple of years back, Stefan Rattel said we can't do anything more now in terms of putting cars on the grid. We're pretty much full, but we'd like more people to come through the gate. So it's not just racing, it's event, it's concerts, it's fan activation, it's all the extra things that make coming to Misano, coming to any circuit, an event rather than just watching cars go around.
Yeah, it's a family event, isn't it? Every demographic seems to enjoy their event now here. And Spa, last time out, we had over 130,000 spectators. GT racing is going through a very good period right now.
Let's hear from Ariel Levy. Next, he's on the grid with Bryn Lucas.
Yeah, silver pole. What a great position. I mean, silver pole, P2 on the grid, looking around you, surrounded by the great and good of GT racing. This is pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, especially for me, for the first year as a GT3 driver, this is quite a feat, I guess. And also having a car that is relatively older than the other guys. We put so much work, especially me back home and also in the racetrack. I was staying here every day until the night with the engineers and trying to figure out what to do with the car, so I'm really happy that we are here.
I was going to ask you that. What was the key to the success? Was it just repetition on the sim? What's been happening, looking at the data, you know, working?
So there's a few keys, I would say. First of all, back home, because we don't test a lot, I built my own car on the sim. I actually built the code and everything for the car. And I ended up having the setup of the car back home, and we came here prepared, so that was nice. And later as well, of course, I stay here every day until basically it's night, and looks like it was working, so.
Forget the 1%, that's 100%. Well done and good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Ariel Levy, who was really quick at Spa, then had that drama, didn't he, on the first racing lap of the 24 hours itself, and that was him done, sadly, wiped out a couple of other cars. So he's eager to make amends for that, but clearly working hard with the team, and he's got good pace, as we have seen hitherto this season. Right, Riccardo Feller won at Spa, and he won at Brands Hatch in sprint, and he's with Nina Jade Paul.
Well, Riccardo, you've gone from winning the biggest GT race in the world, and now we're here back in the Sprint Cup. You are leading the standings. Fantastic form lately.
Yes, it's going very well. I'm very proud of the whole team that is doing an awesome work. Also proud of my two teammates in endurance and also sprint. So yeah, just happy, but we're still fully in the season, and there's a lot more races to come. And yeah, it would be nice to step another 2-3 times on the podium.
So what's your approach to the start of this race?
Yeah, obviously full push. Try to overtake Vale, which maybe is not a good idea in this place. Maybe they set my car on fire or something, but for sure we will try to go for the victory, of course.
Well, good luck. Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, Riccardo Feller will be a brave man if he gets past Valentino Rossi. As you can hear in the background, the Italian national anthem plays as we get closer to start time here at Misano. 10 minutes to go.
Look how busy that grid is. It's the opposite of what you want as a driver. You want to just be able to get into your zone and block everything out, but so many people and so much music blaring out.
Fratelli d'Italia, l'Italia se desta, nel municipio si ginda la testa, dove la vittoria le porga la chioma, che siamo di Roma, il Dio la creò. Stringiamoci a corte, siamo pronti alla morte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia giù. Stringiamoci a corte, siamo pronti alla morte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia giù.
It's not often you hear the Italian national anthem with the words, but a great reception for it, and Stefan Vettel down on the grid. Patricia Kiefer with her back to you, the COO of SRO Motorsports Group, and she's been with Stefan's company pretty much since it was BPR, the birth of GT racing, when Jürgen Barth, Patrick Peter and Stefan Vettel got together. In those days, Patricia was the press officer, but has helped guide SRO through to what it is today with this global expansion. Now, in terms of drivers, we can hear from another. Danny Honkadea is on the grid, and he's with Bryn.
When we were watching qualifying, we were so concerned about your track limits, and you were saying that you practiced and practiced and practiced, and then your teammate a few moments ago, Jules, was saying you kind of posted too early about your track limits and how you've gone to not hit them too much.
Yeah, I see very low confidence in myself. That's, yeah, no, I mean, it was obviously very much on the limit. I actually thought it was safe, but yeah, when you look at the replay, it's obviously very, very close. So yeah, but this track, you know, it's all about the little margins. And obviously in the race you need to take a step back because it can really damage your chances for a top result. But yeah, so far pretty good, pretty happy with P7 so far.
I mean, we talk about track limits. You didn't hit any track limits, so it was absolutely perfect, right on the button. When you look where you are on the grid and you look ahead, you're not that far from the front at all, and there is opportunity here, particularly in the pit stops.
Yeah, I think the race is going to go down to those pit stops because it's a track that unfortunately is very hard to overtake. We'll try to measure my chances at the start. Of course, that's always been a strong point for me. And yeah, then try to settle into a good rhythm, try to put ourselves in a good position for the pit stop, and then the guys confident they can do a good job. And yeah, let's aim for a top 5, top 3 would be good.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Daniel Honkadea will start number 3 Mercedes, and that's on the 4th row of the grid. He will start 7th. You see in the background Jules Gounod walking over, and he is in for Chris Lullen this weekend. Normally Jules drives an endurance, but he's standing in for Chris Lullen while he's not able to race this weekend. Let's get back to the grid and Nina J. Paul.
Well, Lucas, you're currently leading the overall championship and you're 3rd in the Sprint Cup. You finished P2 in race 2 here last year. What can you do from here?
Let's see, P5 is actually a good starting position. We know start is important, pit stops are important, so the aim is to move further up, but will be tough against the competition, so let's see.
Will you be going full attack mode, or are you just trying to get a good haul of points?
No, full attack mode.
Always full attack. Good luck.
Thank you.
And Lucas Auer sharing with Maro Engel. You can see in the white T-shirt there. Maro ever so relaxed, still in civvies, long before he needs to get in the car. So the grid is starting to clear. And gradually, therefore, drivers and engineers can focus their attention on what is to come. But one of the things that is to come is that run down towards turn 1, 2, 3, that first real pinch point on the lap with 43 cars on this grid. It is a very crowded house indeed. Matteo Cairoli, who lost lap times due to track limits, is going to be at the very back in the Emile Frey Pro Cup Ferrari. He's got a big job on his hands here.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge ask to get anywhere near the top 10 as now Honkadea puts on his office uniform, helmet up, and it's going to be difficult for the drivers of the sun where it is right now. Visor down may be the action. The action into turn 1 has really favoured the outside today, hasn't it? We've seen a lot of cars on the outside, so this will be the Audi of Frassinetti possibly able to sweep round the outside of Valentino Rossi, so potentially they keep an eye out for that.
Wouldn't be Italy without racing a Ferrari. The Leclerc family had a good Silverstone. What about a good Misano? Let's go to the grid.
A grid position that you really wouldn't want from this race here, Arthur, and you've got your work cut out, but can you achieve anything in this race, or is it all eyes on tomorrow?
No, I think we can still doing something. There is quite a lot of chaos in this track, especially in the first corner, so hopefully we'll take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's you have to find the positives, don't you? I know you're not exactly where you want to be. Can you give us any insights into the areas the car's struggling and how you're able to adapt around that?
Well, I mean, we struggled a bit, Thomas struggled a bit with the confidence this morning. The car was a bit pointy, a bit oversteer. We know that in hot condition, the car is a bit more tricky to drive for us. So yeah, it was not the best qualifying, but in general, we are just a little bit struggling as a team. So hopefully we'll be able to turn it around, especially tonight with the cold conditions.
I was going to say, cold conditions are beneficial for you.
Yeah, a little bit. So, but it's quite tricky to overtake, so we'll try.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I think somewhere we need to define cold, don't we? Cooler, I think, rather than cold. It's certainly not cold here. Just going back to the Danny Honkadea, Jules Gounon Mercedes, I mentioned that Jules was replacing Chris Lull, and Chris having his appendix out this weekend, so that's why he's not going to be on the grid.
Yeah, gutted for him there.
Got a good standing in Jules Gounon, that is for sure. And they've got a separate qualifying session to go tomorrow in anticipation of race 2. 3-minute board, then all of a sudden it's got very close to start time.
Yeah, and this is finally when the grid starts to clear, and only one mechanic should be left with the car, normally with a jump battery, just to alleviate the main battery of the car having to start the engine. These big engines draw a huge amount of current, so the teams want to try and leave that inside the battery. So the jump battery plugged in, car fires up at 1 minute, unplugged, and then the driver is left to go ahead of the formation.
And this is a rather nervous but focused man on pole position. Valentino Rossi then sharing this year with Max Hesse. He's had success here with Raffaele Marciello. He's had success here with Maxime Martin. Is Max Hesse going to be able to join that list as well? Countdown continues. Rolling start, of course. Pit window, 25 to 35 minutes. In bronze, the cars always look like they're really racy early on, and they are, but then they have a slightly different regulation for the pits. They have a regulation time, 80 seconds, whereas the other classes are what you might call a natural pit stop, as quick as you can. But inevitably, because you've got to sit there for 80 seconds, in the second stint, your starting point is with the bronzes much further back, and then it becomes a separate race for them, a different feel from what we had early on.
Yeah, they'll roughly lose 14 seconds more than these pro cars and gold cars with that mandatory stop. And we saw a bizarre situation, didn't we, with Marshall on his outlap, and he's got a 5-place grid drop. I think relatively lenient, to be honest, for that car. The 74 Kessel Ferrari should be well up there by the end of the race in that bronze class.
Yeah, he got tangled up with Felix Hersiger's Ferrari, and Dennis Marshall was given a 5-place grid drop, but he will be very rapid, that is for sure. This will be a rapid car as well. Charles Weert sharing, of course, with Kelvin van der Linde. Charles, 17 times a winner in sprint, and that car is going to be started by Charles Weert, who's made quite a career out of winning the Sprint Cup title. Won it in 2020 and 21 and 22 and 25. And he's also won the Intercontinental GT Challenge, just for good measure, in the 2024 season. All, of course, with the family team, Weert's the W of WRT, the W Group, the Weert's Group, owning the team. And Yves Weert's his dad, a very regular sight in the pit garage. So there is the grid as you look down from the drone, hovering over the pit straight. Misano with the floodlights on will get darker, of course. There's something about racing under the lights, whether it's a GT race like this, whether it's 24 hours of Spa, whether it's a short oval event, speedway or stock cars. There's something about racing under the lights where you can't see anything else, you just focus on the track itself.
Yeah, the intensity goes up, doesn't it? The atmosphere is higher and the jeopardy is higher as well. 15 seconds, all the engines will be on. Some cars running endurance lights, so the lights we see at Spa, the extra bumper lights to illuminate the curbs predominantly, but some cars not, so could be a difference there towards the end of this race.
Green flag shown then. That means the formation lap is underway. And if you haven't got your camera phone to hand, then you know, buddy, as the fans look down from the top of the pit buildings and see the cars with the lights piercing the fading light, starting now to weave their way down towards turn 1. Tyre pressures, tyre temperatures, the focus of attention right now for the start. The classes headed in bronze, pole there to Fabian Schiller. In silver, it is the Andrea Frasinetti Audi. In gold, Dylan Pereira, a second pole position of the season, and a first ever pole in GT3 for Valentino Rossi, who starts from the Pro Cup pole position first on the grid. the fact that Andrea Frassinetti's silver Audi is alongside is very impressive. So Valentino Rossi on pole to win that Rover Pole Award. Andrea Frasinetti alongside him. Ricardo Feller, the championship leader, starts third alongside Charles Weert, with Lucas Auer third in the championship, going from fifth. Fabian Schiller's first pole of the year in bronze, putting him sixth on the grid. On the fourth row, Danny Juncadella alongside Marvin Dienst, and then a row back, Dylan Pereira and Tommaso Mosca, who is the championship leader in gold. Then you've got Cian Jewis, the reigning British GT champion. Jamie Day comes next, ahead of Thierry Vermeulen and Christopher Hauser. Matthias Liesmann is the silver championship leader. He lines up on the eighth row of the grid alongside Anthony Bartone. Then bit further back than anticipated is Dean McDonald, and Dennis Marshall further back because of his 5th-place grid drop. Then Anne-Marie Cordial in his BMW, and Thomas Neubauer, winner at Brands Hatch, second in the championship, but with a lot of work to do ahead of Simon Gachet and Luca Engschler. Then David Fumanelli and Tom Fleming ahead of Loris Cabirou's Porsche. Then it is Jeff Machiels ahead of Sebastian Oegaard's Audi. Gilles Magnus in the Boutsen VDS Porsche ahead of Augusto Farfus and Ricardo Pera. James Cowell is on the 16th row alongside Maurice Schuring. Then it's Felix Hersiger and Nicky Thiem, a long way back, but like the blue touch paper here. Arthur Dorison is on the 18th row alongside Eddie Cheever, ahead of Tanat Satarin-Tirancourt and Felici Gialmini. Then it is Loris Spinelli and Guillaume Oliveira ahead of Yacht Rapinge and SRO GT Academy winner Gaspar Simon, with Matteo Cairoli a point to prove. No lap time recorded for track limit abuses, and he'll be storming his way through from the back as Vincent Voss is all smiles at WRT. His car, Valentino Rossi at the wheel, is on pole. One other thing to just touch on, I did mention Boutsen VDS on the grid. All the cars carrying stickers in tribute to the late Mark van der Straten, the VDS of what was then the Mark VDS racing team, and more recently Boutsen VDS. He passed away just recently. He was a big supporter of Belgian drivers, of the 24 Hours of Spa, of SRO GT racing in general, and he's remembered this weekend with stickers on all the competing cars. Mark van der Straten. Thomas Neubauer's view. Traffic ahead. The sun setting. Valentino Rossi then, he's on pole position, and it is Alex Frasinetti, Andrea Frasinetti's car alongside. Lights on the gantry are red. Race 1 at Misano is go, and Charles Weert's on his toes. Not a good getaway though by Frasinetti, in the Audi in contact already. Mayhem breaks out. The Audi comes across the road and demolishes Danny Juncadella's Mercedes that spins around. Juncadella just gets it out of harm's way. That could have been a whole lot worse, but Charles Weert is in the lead. Look, there's a damaged Mercedes. That's Fabian Schiller's red and white car. Rossi has dropped back in the queue. Feller has been delayed. Lucas Auer has been delayed a little bit as well as they get up towards turn 4. So Weertz is the leader. Marvin Dienst is second. Schiller with damage is third. Rossi is fourth. Fifth equal, Auer and Feller. But the Porsche goes ahead as they get to turn 5 and 6. Then way wide goes the Porsche. But are we going to be able to have the track clear? I'm afraid that yet again on the opening lap of the race, the 66 Audi is out. The slow starting Frasinetti. The car is stationary on the pit straight. There's debris there as well. It would be no surprise if we had a safety car. But right now, Weertz leads, and it's all getting very ragged behind him.
I think actually Auer's going to get down the inside of Feller here. So the yellow Mercedes back down the Porsche after getting rubbed up by Mosca in the Ferrari. That was a bizarre start. Listening to the 46.
Stay focused, Valley, stay focused. All good. Tire pressure looks okay.
Race control to all teams. The safety car will wait for the leader before turn 15. All cars have to follow the safety car through the pit lane. All cars must follow the safety car through the pit lane.
And that's the voice of Niels Vittich, the race director. And the reason that they're going to go through the pit lane is because we need at least one car, maybe two, to be moved from the pit straight. Andrea Frasinetti's slow-starting Audi. Broken rear suspension is stationary. There you can see it. And just ahead of it is the number 3 Mercedes.
And again, the reminder, all cars must follow the safety car through the pit lane.
So, in order to keep the race running, the pit lane becomes part of the racetrack. Danny Juncadella has just walked past our window, and he will look across at the Audi. But it was quite a moment, that. And how's that for a view? Hoisted above the pit lane and savouring not only GT cars underneath, but you can have your dinner up there as well. Crikey.
I'm a messy eater. I'll be dropping out on the top of the Dennis Marshall flag.
Slippery surface flag needed, yeah.
What an odd start. There's a few things that took my eye straight away. Rossi was hard right. He wasn't going over the grid boxes, and then he got a poor start. So did Frasinetti, and they kind of went a pincer movement over the front of Fella. And I believe those two cars turned themselves around on the front of Fella. Juncker fully innocent, and Charles Vert just got the best start of everyone because he read the light. So watch Rossi squeezing over. So is Frasinetti. They turn themselves around, which then fully wipes out Frasinetti, who then wipes out Juncker in their Verstappen.com Mercedes. I don't see where Schiller gets the damage just yet. It must be from Frasinetti whipping back across. For me, there's responsibility of 50% on Rossi, 50% on Frasinetti, and all Italian front row ends in disaster.
Yeah, they kind of pincered across the Porsche, didn't they? And then the Audi got turned around. Huncadea is the innocent party in that. But that was what scared me, is he came back across the road and he kept his foot to the board to try and drag it off the track.
Yeah, we go on board with Rossi now, and I think Juncker purposely does almost a reverse J-turn here. He gets left hand down at some point to flick it back across the track. I believe that all conscious by Juncker, and he stopped potential plane crash. This is Vincent Voss watching it, seeing it unfold. Rossi is so lucky to not get wiped out a second time. The engineer telling him just to stay calm. Is there damage on that car? Positive is Charles Vert is in the lead. Everything is okay. They've realised at this point, I think Rossi is okay. But watch these drivers, 44 cars, trying to miss the chaos that's going ahead into turn one.
We had that start line accident, didn't we? Turn one at Monza for endurance. We had an accident on the first racing lap at Spa, and again, it's the front of the grid. Everyone trying to be quick off their toes. You've heard drivers talking about how difficult it is to overtake around here, and we've also said that the pinch points are turns
Race control
1, 2,
to
and
all
3.
teams. All the cars have been recovered from start-finish, so the safety car will now use the track to go through start-finish straight. All cars still have to follow the safety car, this time through the start-finish straight.
And just to finish the point, that was even before we got to turn one, so never mind the pinch point, is getting away from the line safely. You just heard Niels Vitic explain that we'll do at least one lap now with the track clear, and then we'll go racing. Now let's get to the pit lane. Max Hesser saw all that unfold. What are his thoughts now? Bryn Lucas is with him.
I think you may have breathed a big sigh of relief there, seeing Valentino carry on down the track there. How did you see that play out though, Max?
Yeah, we have to analyze in the end the videos. Luckily, the car is still in one piece. It looks like mechanics are checking now, and we are still in P4, so it's a decent position. Of course, not the way you would like to start from pole position, but yeah, at least the 32 now is in the lead, so one BMW is up front.
Let's have a quick look. If you could just talk us through what you can see.
Yeah, it looks like we are maybe not getting off great off the line, and then the Porsche is holding the nose in, and yeah, in the end, sandwiching the Audi, which is touching actually a couple of cars, not only one. Yeah, we need to analyze and check if we have any damage. I hope not, that we can continue, and the race is still long, so we push.
Valley took a bit of decisive action at the end there as well. He just missed the Audi again as it came back at him, so maybe, hopefully, fortune's favouring you.
Yeah, you know, hopefully our bad luck is out of the way, and we can make up some positions now.
Try and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Does the Porsche of Ricardo Fella have any blame in that, trying to get between the two front row cars and squeezing it open?
Zero. Fella's the guy on the move. The front row's sleeping. The lights are green. Everyone else is gone. For me, it's 50% on Rossi, 50% on the Audi of Frasinetti. Safety car in this lap. And yeah, good spot by Bryn. It was evasive action. Valentino's years of being the greatest of all time on two wheels has certainly saved him on four here.
So the fields then are currently working lap 3. Safety car will be in this time. We'll go back to racing. Remember, this, of course, nibbles into the hour of racing. But the good news for the home fans is that Valentino Rossi's car is still in the race. It's not where it was, but it is still going. Marvin Dienst has been a big winner out of all of that as well, because
Safety
he's gone from 8th
off
to 2nd. Safety car lights off, says Niels Vitic, the race director. So you've got pro, bronze, bronze, pro, 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 the top 6. Ricardo Fella having fallen back to 6th place while he was trying to skirt disaster. So it is Charles Wirtz the leader, Marvin Dienst 2nd, Fabian Schiller is 3rd with a bit of damage, Valentino Rossi 4th, Lucas Auer 5th, Ricardo Fella is 6th, your leading gold is 7th, Tommaso Mosca, your leading silver is 9th, and it's Jamie Day, and the leading bronze is 2nd, and that's Marvin Dienst.
On board with Rossi now. It's the sister car WRT in front, so we're going to be any
green flag at the line
when he's going to go. These two cars in front are going to be behind us after the pit stop, but Rossi needs to get on the front foot. He needs to get away from the Mercedes of Auer behind, and Auer looked fast, didn't he, on that opening lap?
Did indeed. Right, green flag on the line. You had the race director explain to the teams. They can tell the drivers. It'll be on the in-car marshalling as well. And Charles Witz has made a good restart. The weave is to get the tyre temps up as much as try and fend off Marvin Deans as they go down towards turn 1. So it is Witz who leads them away. Deans is second. Fabian Schiller there in the red and white Mercedes third. And those two Mercedes arguing over the bronze lead. Fourth is Rossi. Fifth is Auer. Sixth is Feller. And they power their way now towards turn 4.
Yeah, and Auer's going to want to try and get past Rossi while the tyres are coming up. He's having to defend from Feller at the same time. Moscow looked racy at the start. The cars rubbing each other there. The front of the Porsche Spa winning car behind the man filter Winwood car of Lucas Auer. We spoke to him on the grid. He seemed pretty punchy, didn't he? Car starting to run wide. Track limits we'll keep an eye on and keep you updated. You can do 6 before you'll get a 5-second penalty.
Witz has had a good restart lap here, especially given that Deans is trying to hang on to his class lead, because that gap has widened measurably between the top two, hasn't it? Charles Witz again driving away from the opposition up towards turn 9. That kick that takes it to 10, and Lucas Auer dives up the inside of Valentino Rossi. Bit of hit and shoulder between the two of them, but Lucas Auer tries to level with the BMW. Has he just slightly backed out of that to avoid a penalty, or was that genuinely that he didn't have the drive off the corner? I'm tempted to say that was self-censorship.
Yeah, I agree with the former. He didn't run up wide to Rossi on the exit like he was rolling out of it. He would have sent the move with good intention, and halfway through probably didn't want to be there anymore, but he was committed to it. And I think you're right. I think he's rolled out of that to then have another go, do it cleanly and not attract a penalty.
Absolutely, but at the same time, keep Ricardo Feller's Porsche behind the Brands Hatch Race 2 winning car. So Deans then second, heading bronze, and actually Auer is coming under attack, isn't he, from Feller? This is Ricardo's view. End of the lap. Up through the gears, come over the line. Witz lead, small gap back. Deans is second. Fabian Schiller is third. Valentino Rossi fourth. Lucas Auer fifth. Ricardo Feller is sixth. Then you've got Tommaso Mosca, Dylan Pereira, Jamie Day ninth. Christopher Haas's Audi in 10th place. And Auer, having tried that move and failed, now has to go defensive because he's defending from Feller, and that in turn means he's dropping away slightly from Valentino Rossi.
Yeah, getting dark quickly as well. The cool kids tried to keep their lights off as long as they could. Auer and Feller on board with have had to turn them on now, so the conditions changing quickly. Of course, the temperature will drop as well, so this will change what the cars feel like. We see this endurance racing all the time, and we're going to see a very condensed version of that in this race today.
And there, Ricardo Feller trying the outside line against Lucas Auer. And he can't do it there, but he now knows he's got the pace to attack. And what a difference a lap makes, because it was here a lap ago that Auer made his big dive on Rossi. This lap, he's having to defend from a very committed Feller who is taking Tommaso Mosca with him in the Ferrari.
I'd be surprised if he's got damage from the contact with Rossi, but something has changed in the last lap. The last minute and 40 have unravelled from being on the front foot and trying to go forward. He is now massively holding up the last sort of 4 or 5 cars behind him, and Auer needs to try and understand what he needs to get from this Mercedes to go forward once more.
Matteo Cairoli in the pink Porsche at the back making a bit of progress, I notice as well, as there you've got the number 55 Dynamic GT Porsche trying to get places up on the inside line as they turn now onto turn 14, out of which the leaders pour. There is Auer then, still under attack from Ricardo Feller as they head towards the timing line once more. But Charles Witz, last time led by 1.4 seconds, and this time as he goes through, the lead gap is up to 1.6, so Witz is just edging away slightly.
Yeah, Cairoli in the Ferrari actually doing the second sector faster than anyone else. Purple sector for him, on board with Rossi. We're now getting held up by Schiller, and you can see the teammate of Wirtz in the distance, and that's the problem. It's the distance. We're running in hard here. There was contact, a slight rub onto the back of Schiller, and now he's got to try and get the run. The Mercedes very nimble through that 5 and 6. The change of direction seeming to suit the Mercedes more than the Rossi BMW.
Race leaders then, currently on lap number 6. And again, Ricardo Feller on the attack against Lucas Auer, who is doing his best to stay with Rossi, but he just can't do it because he's having to take these slower defensive lines. And Feller is quicker, but he's being held up. If and when this Porsche can clear the Mercedes AMG, then we'll see Feller no doubt go after the BMW. He thinks about the inside line, but Lucas Auer is already committed to that. But again, while he's defending, this is great news for Rossi.
I think Mosca's got a run on Feller here. Feller had a huge snap of oversteer. That's the Porsche having to go defensive down the back straight. Is Mosca going to send it all the way around the outside? He thinks better. He does not. Keeps the momentum, and this could be a moment that they get together.
Don't forget, Mosca leads gold. Feller then at the inside. Mosca was another impressive driver at Spa. He's trying the outside line, but Ricardo Feller is just going to be able to hang on to the place at turn 14. But in doing that, he's fallen away from Lucas Auer now. So Ricardo Feller, he needs to regroup. He needs to really be able to push for a few corners and get away from that Ferrari and work out his best strategy of passing the Mercedes. As Witz leads over the line, then it's Deans, then it's Schiller, then it's Rossi. Auer goes through next. The fastest lap of the race done by Charles Wirtz, by the way. No surprise, the race leader being able to control the race, drive his own lines. Pretty much everybody else is either attacking or defending. And look, Feller, all of a sudden, he's getting closer to Auer again.
Yeah, Feller's fast. That Porsche is real quick, and actually maybe dropping back off the back of Auer is going to give him an advantage. He's going to have some momentum. He may be able to use that over the next left-hander, which gives him the run down the back straight into turn 8. I think that's where the Porsche is strongest. Next time they hit the brakes, check for Feller diving to the inside of the yellow Mercedes.
Let's have a look then, because there's Tommaso Mosca underneath us as we fly down that back straight through the kink at 7 towards turn 8. There is, in 7th place, Tommaso Mosca. But Ricardo Feller has closed on the Mercedes ahead, but he's not been able to make an attack, and then loses a length on that slight climb up now towards turn 9. So the Porsche still behind, at least for now. But Charles Wirtz is getting away. It's not been a great start to the season for WRT in terms of GT World Challenge Europe results. They haven't had an endurance win. They haven't had a sprint win. That could change right now at a circuit at which the BMW and indeed the Audi before has always been a good winning machine for WRT.
Yeah, they've had 14 wins here at Misano in the past, and it looks like they're doing they're all to get the 15th today as well. So a super strong track. Brake disc starting to glow now. These cars working super hard, flat out. Obviously only an hour sprint race, and these tyres only do half a race, so the driver's not having to look after anything. This is flat out everything you can give it.
The Porsche with this elasticated gap to the Mercedes ahead and the Ferrari behind. Some corners it's close, some corners it's not quite so close. There is Rossi, little twitch as the car sets up for turn 1, and this for the bronze lead. Marvin Dean still doing a good job of repelling the challenge of Fabian Schiller. And the car's up now towards turn 4. There's Valentino Rossi in the background. Then Auer, then Feller. Mosca has dropped back slightly this time. He's still fending off Dylan Pereira. Jamie Day, by the way, 9th. He's leading the Silver Cup for the Valkenhorst Aston Martin team, and then in 10th place, Christopher Hauser. Bronze battle you're looking at. So there's the graphic to confirm. It's the Mercedes 1 and 2. The red and white car is that of Fabian Schiller, and he's all over the back of the Winward car. The Get Speed entry all over the back of the Winward car of Marvin Dienst at the helm, who takes a wider approach, doesn't he, than others coming towards turn 9 and then the corner itself at 10 through the fading light goes Cian Dewis, last year's British GT champion. But Charles Wirtz, after that great start, being helped by all these battles behind. He's building up a really nice cushion.
Yeah, really good for him. And yeah, some massively different lines between those two Mercedes. Turn 8 as well. The first car of Dean swinging over the entry curb. So it seems to have a really stable car under him, and he's able to manipulate the entry line, open up the angle as much as possible. As we look at our Silver Cup leader that you spoke about, David, Jamie Day there, our lead Aston Martin as well. Comfortably the fastest Aston Martin around here. I feel like Valkenhorst have really unlocked something this weekend in that car.
Yeah, Nicky Team is only 30th. Now, something not right there, because we know how good Nicky is. There, number 99, that's Dylan Pereira, second in goal behind Tommaso Mosca, but not quite staying with him. The lights on message has just been issued to the teams to make sure the drivers obey. Pretty much everybody, I think, has, some being brighter than others. Lights, that is, not drivers. One car going over the line, Augusto Farfus. He's gained a place on that lap up into 15th in the Paradigm competition. BMW again in bronze. As there, Dienst fending off Schiller. They're being caught by Rossi, aren't they now? So he's been able to get away from Lucas Auer and concentrate on the attack. But the danger is he gets stuck and then Auer catches up again.
Yeah, exactly. I think Rossi's best opportunity is just to sit behind Schiller for this next sequence of corners and then try to open up the next right-hander, concentrate on a good exit and get the speed down the back straight. We've just rolled in a bit too deep there at turn 8, and that's why the gap has grown. But here, what I would suggest is going slightly wider, later apex. That gives you a better exit speed, and then you carry it down the longest straight here at Misano. It just seems to be struggling to get the front end of the car in. It's not turning underneath him as much as he would want. Maybe he'll be feeding that back to the WRT team, and they can do a pressure adjustment for the second set when Max Hesse takes over the 46.
And there is 46 BMW then. So Valentino Rossi may have picked up slight damage. Max Hesse is watching on, and Rossi is watching on to see what's going on between these two Mercedes. He wants to get past, but equally he doesn't want to put himself in jeopardy if it all kicks off between them. He may have to wait for the pit stops and try and gain there, because trying to overtake both of those is going to be far from easy, let's phrase it that way.
Yeah, remember those two bronze cars were in the pits for 14 seconds longer than him, so they should be able to get past him. WRT telling us there's no damage on the 46, so they'll be good to push to the end, and I think that's probably the right strategy, David, is to sit behind these cars now and box early. The undercut is always strong. What's the undercut? It's when you box early, you get your second stint started. And why is it strong? Because you get another set of tyres. The tyres are at their quickest at the start of their life, so everyone will want to box as early as they can, and that can happen in 7 minutes and 50 seconds from now.
Depending on your track position, though, because you need to be near the pit lane when the window opens. The worst feeling is you want to box early, but you end up missing out by 5 or 6 seconds, for example, and those further back in the queue are able to pit before you. You have to do an extra lap. So the engineers will be trying to monitor where the cars are around the circuit relative to the pit window opening. They can work it out from a flying lap time, just about, but then what they didn't factor in were safety car laps, one being on a different configuration than the other with the pit lane, of course, so there'll be some more numbers to be crunched. But Wirtz is doing all the right things here because he's doing the fastest lap of the race, he's doing personal best sectors as the fuel load comes down. He's building the gap to now over 3 seconds from the Dienst-Schiller bronze battle to be second overall.
Yeah, and it is difficult for the engineers because the pit entry line is so far in front of the finish line, so the top engineers will actually know their pit entry time from the end of sector 2 to pit in, and they'll know that's roughly about 38 seconds here, and they'll keep an eye on that clock. The top teams don't make mistakes, and that's where WRT are probably the favourites in the pit stop to deliver the quickest service.
Over the timing line they stream then. Charles Wirtz still clear in the lead of the race, but the gap's down a little bit because there Marvin Dienst has just done a personal best, and he's pulled back a 10th of a second against Wirtz. So the gap down ever so slightly as the battle is on there. Augusto Farfus comes under attack heading down towards turn 1. He's got Mathis Liesman with him. He's also got Dean McDonald behind him. That was Farfus getting ahead of Liesman, but Mathis straight away trying to fight back. The BMWs, one in bronze, one in silver. And then behind them, you've got the Pro Cup McLaren of Dean McDonald, and the McLarens have looked really breathless around here. They've just not had the pace.
No, and Garage 59, along with WRT, are the only teams on this grid to have won here before. So interesting, Garage 59 unable to lock any performance out of their McLaren this weekend. 16th at the moment for McDonald, the top McLaren there. And it doesn't look like he's got much to attack the guys in front.
So the McLaren turns through, looking to see Matteo Cairoli's progress, and it's tough. He's still only in 37th spot right now, as we have the cars again making their way up towards the turn 14 hairpin, and turn 10 in the case here of the mid-pack. So Charles Wirtz clear, and there's a safety car investigation being shown by Loris Spinelli, 163, but the safety car infringement being looked at for Loris Spinelli. Now, let's have another look at the start, because the race control team have been looking at this as well. Now, have a look at Rossi. You need to be inside your grid lines. Well, Valentino Rossi's way outside of the white hatchings. Riccardo Feller has done it right. Frassinetti has done it right as well. Right, we've paused it because that's when the lights go green. Frassinetti is slow away. Wirtz round the outside. Feller goes for a gap that closes, and then it all starts to kick off. Lucas Al was lucky not to T-bone the Audi, which then did hit the Conquidea Mercedes. But on that evidence, I fear that Rossi might be copping a penalty for not being across the grid hatchings.
Yeah, I saw it at the time and I called it as odd. I just didn't understand why he was so hard right. It was like he was defending from a ghost that was not there, and I think something's going to come and haunt him, and I think it's going to be Niels Vitic.
Well, right now, other drivers are getting themselves ready, including aboard number 32 BMW student Kelvin van der Linde with a Red Bull helmet, and Charles Wirtz leads the way. We are about 4 minutes off that window opening, and Wirtz has done a good job. 2.8 seconds is the margin, with Dienst and Schiller, that gap having crept up to over a second last time around. There is Valentino Rossi, who may be having a tough day after all, but let's see what pans out. We await news, and yes, the penalties are coming. Number 46, a 10-second penalty for a jump start, and Kian Dewis, treble 2, 10-second time penalty for a jump start. So Valentino Rossi gets 10 seconds for jumping the start, and treble 2 Kian Dewis Mercedes also deemed to have jumped the start. And it does say jump, not a false start. It uses the word jump in the information about the penalty.
I'm slightly surprised Frasinetti doesn't get anything. I guess he's out of the race, so maybe some justice there. But I think Frasinetti causes the Juncadella DNF personally, so the penalties have been served. We obviously missed King Juris's jump start. He must have had a really early start because the lights went green so early.
But in fairness, those are jump start penalties.
True.
Anything for Frasinetti, you could argue, would be causing a collision. That might still be being looked at. So that's where we're up to. So Valentino Rossi, 4th on the road, about a 10-second time penalty, but he can at least serve that at the pit stop.
Yeah, and interestingly, I still think that's going to be 4 seconds quicker than the bronze cars in front of him's pit stop with their mandatory one. So follow me on this. I still think Rossi could leave the pit lane in second by the end of the stops.
Even allowing for that penalty, but what he needs to do is start to get away from Lucas Sauer. He's 2 seconds ahead of number 48 Mercedes. So on track, Charles Wirtz leads the way. Window is 2 minutes and 3/4 away from being open effectively as the field comes up towards 10 again here. There's the McLaren going through, Dean McDonald. There is Dennis Marshall's Ferrari. And the cars accelerate their way down towards turn 10. So, although it's been categorised, we understand, as a jump start in terms of the message line, that does incorporate out of position start, false start. So the word jump has been used, but it was for being out of position in Rossi's case, not for going before the lights, but for not being in the grid hatchings. And maybe that's the same for Kean Jewett, even though, as I say, the word jump is used, but that's a sort of umbrella term for a false start here.
And on board with Dean McDonald, their car looked pretty good. The only thing slightly worrying is 3 of his tyre pressures weren't working, and then he just did a track limit on the exit of 16 without doming him in. Maybe the McLaren's going to get slightly quicker. His delta time on the dash was really dropping down the back straight. He was 2/10 up, so the cold air seems to be helping the McLaren straight line performance. Twin turbo V8 4-litre loves the cold air.
Somebody else is going well, end of stint, is Marvin Deans, because he's chipping away at the lead gap to Wirtz. It was nearly 3 seconds. He got it down to 2.3, and he's pulled away from Fabian Schiller by 1.4 seconds. Now he's not having to defend. Deans is on a mission. He's done the outright fastest lap of the race as well. Marvin Deans is another rather underrated driver. Because he's in bronze, you think, oh, he can't be that good, but he is. He's a very, very good single-seater racer. He drove Porsches in WEC, for example. He's a very, very good driver, is Marvin Deans, and he's underlining the point right now. There in 13th place is the Brands Hatch Race 1 winning Ferrari, Thomas Neubauer, who will give way to Arthur Leclerc for stint 2.
He's winning our track limit warning race. He's on his 5th warning. 6th, you get 5 seconds, so they have to be super careful there. The leaders will not be able to box this lap. Potentially, the bottom 6 to 7 cars could box this lap, but everyone else is going to have to do a minimum of 1 more before the pit window opens.
That's assuming, in a sense, you want to box, because you might want your faster driver to stay in a bit longer, but equally you might want to get out of traffic. So this is the discussion they'll be having with engineers. In terms of the fastest cars through turn 13, Thomas Neubauer's Ferrari is the quickest. Felice Gelmini's Aston next, then Ricardo Perez's Porsche, Jeff Machiel's Ferrari, and Tom Fleming's McLaren, all on our race vision powered by AWS data. Leaders go through, 14 laps in the book. Lead gap 1.9 seconds. Let's listen to the lead BMW radio.
Box.
So Charles Wirtz last lap 1:34.5, whereas Deans 1:34.1. That BMW has been giving away a lot of time. 1.9 seconds the margin.
Yeah, under 2 seconds is a huge move there, and Deans will see that coming, and he will go long because he's in the bronze class. So his teammate is a bronze graded driver, an AM driver, so they will go as long as they can. So they're going to try and do the overcut. But remember what I said about the undercut. This car is going to get a brand new set of tyres, and that will really help Kelvin van der Linde be able to pull away. Look at that beautiful vista. That's why you need to come and watch these races live to get to see the atmosphere and feel it right in your veins.
In fairness to Deans as well, he's not really racing Wirtz, is he? Because of that regulation time the bronzes have to serve. He's racing the bronze cars, and that in real terms only. At the moment there's pride at stake for him, but he knows he can't keep that car in second place race long. It won't be there. So he wants to try and stay as close to Wirtz as he can, but also get away from Schiller, and that part of the plan is working nicely. So Charles Wirtz, we were told, would box this lap. In he comes, and that's going to give Marvin Deans the race lead, assuming the Winwood car doesn't come in. It stays out. So there is Marvin Deans to pick up the race lead. This is Wirtz, down the pit lane. This is Rossi down the pit lane behind Wirtz, very close to the barrier there. He came in rapid.
Oh, I'm not sure that car was at 50 k's as it hit the white line. Seemed to be decreasing its speed after the white line. Lots of teams get penalties for this in practice because the drivers are pushing it. We'll keep an eye on that one. I'm a big Valentino Rossi fan, by the way. I keep seeming to find negatives with him, but he will get out of this car, and that's been a tough stint after a phenomenal qualifying that put him on pole position. And look at those fresh new tyres for Max Hesse. This is the penalty where they can't touch the car. So that's for the jump start, which of course was out of position. 10 seconds, they can't touch that car.
I think as well, given the way that Valle has grown as a GT driver, he'll be pretty hard on himself for that stint. He'll know that, look at the witness marks on the side of the car. He was slightly at fault at the start. He's given the team a penalty. So, yeah, it won't be a very happy Valentino Rossi. The team encouraging him into the garage. But, yeah, he'll be frustrated. And it might be a moment or two before Bryn gets anywhere near him. Valle is away. He's not hanging around for a chat, is he? He knows he's not had the best of stints there. Away goes Max Hesse. So once all the stops have cycled through, we'll see where that car becomes. Wirtz is in. As I'd mentioned, that now is Calvin van der Linde. Mauro Engel came, or rather Lucas Al came in to give way to Engel. Tommaso Mosca has pitted 51 Ferrari. Also, we've had Thierry Vermeulen morph into Ben Green. So the 46 BMW may stay ahead of those Bronze Cup cars, but it's lost Pro Cup places and also Gold Cup and Silver Cup places to the cars that were around it.
Yeah, Hesse's going to be on ascend, isn't he? And just see what he can do. Expect that car, in my opinion, to finish this race with the fastest lap. And I think that will be a bit of pent-up anger from Max Hesse. And I think he's done wrong, of course. Just situational for him as the 80 car is now in. Fella's going to hand over to Bastian Boos. They're the second to last garage. They've got Trundle all the way down. And to spot his car control, you could just see the purple board that Lion Speed used. Damage on the front where he got pincered at the start. In my opinion, he was not guilty of anything there. He was using his momentum. Car will come to a stop, straight to work. This car should be stationary for less than 20 seconds. That's to do a driver change, 4 tyres, using 1 gun and 2 mechanics. It is a phenomenal piece of work these teams go through.
Yeah, he was lucky to get away, actually, unscathed, wasn't he, from that contact, because with radiators at the front of Porsches, quite often front damage means liquid everywhere, but the nature of where the contact came, it didn't do any lasting damage to the rad, so he got away with it. This is now Calvin van der Linde coming onto the pit straight, so the BMW will go by, and 32 on the road then into turn 1, and you can see that it's going to be a big gap, I think, over the immediate opposition. We've got Marvin Dean staying out onto the track. There is Ricardo Fella's car now with Bastian Boos at the wheel, ready to rejoin.
Look for Mauro Engel in the yellow Mercedes. He should be clear by a couple of seconds, but I think Engel's going to be on the front foot. The next set of headlights you'll see are Mauro Engel. So that gap suddenly is going to come probably back to that Winwood car, as Bastian Boos will have to get up to speed as quickly as he can.
So in terms of the pit stops, Calvin van der Linde's time was 67.3 seconds, and looking to see a time out of the Porsche as well, to see how much time was lost by Lion Speed in all of that. Valentino Rossi having a look at the footage and studying and being ever more frustrated. Right, Dean's leads, Schiller second, Jamie Day is up to third, and of course there's going to be a lot of shuffling while we have these pit stops cycling through. This is Max Hesse trying to get himself back up the order here.
Arthur Leclerc in front. Hesse knows he's going to have to dispatch him. Leclerc doesn't get the best exit. You can see the rear of the car have a slight wobble. This is going to give the opportunity to Hesse to send it round the outside. Leclerc obviously covers the inside. That's the wise move. And now it's what can Hesse do? It's a long way round. Bravery needed. Respect so far from both cars. They're still side by side. Hesse, I think, is going to back out of this, try and do the cut back into 14, get it stopped, and Leclerc covers it off. This is good, hard racing. But for Hesse, he is losing time. This Ferrari is definitely holding this BMW up.
So this is Hesse on a mission. Let's see what he can do as they come up towards the line. It's still Dienst ahead of Schiller, and the pit stop from Bastian Boos actually fractionally faster than Calvin van der Linde's. So it shows you how much time was being lost early on, doesn't it, while that Porsche was stuck in the traffic jam. This is Hesse then. He's coming out of turn 3, and Max on the back of Arthur Leclerc. So that Ferrari has jumped forward on the pit stops, and of course the BMW was always going to suffer in terms of position because of the 10 seconds, and it illustrates just how competitive this is, that a 10-second hold can cost you so much real estate.
Calvin Linde doing the fastest lap of the race last time by, so BMW working so well here at Misano.
Yeah, Bastien Boost trying to go with him, but it's going to be a big ask that. Right now, here's the Leclerc versus Hesse fight going up towards turn 9. Marvin Deans, Fabian Schiller, Kian Jewis, Augusto Farfus, the top 4 all out of bronze because they are going further for their co-drivers. Hesse looks for the tight line coming out of turn 10. This is the race leader, so Kelvin van der Linde up front. Last year's IGTC champion then hustles his way up towards turn 15, but the way that he's been going with purple sectors and the fastest lap of the race, he is going to take some stopping.
Yeah, he really is, isn't he? He's absolutely on it. Considering the gap he's got, he seems to be right on the limit. He's keeping it legal with the track limits, which is A-OK. That car's still with very few, so they're OK on that, but he's really pushing to make sure he's got a gap, and sure enough, Engel has now got on the back of Bastien Boost, and that gap has come down ever so slightly as we see the 52A, of course, Ferrari finish its stop and just get in front of the Mercedes, which was in the fast lane. Great stop from A, of course.
Van der Linde last time, another new fastest lap of the race, although others are doing purple sectors, like Mauro Engel, who's in now for Lucas Auer, and Jordan Pepper as well, who's taken over the number 31 entry of Amaury Cordial. So there, Engel on a mission as he comes out of turn 6. The car in a notional 15th place at the moment, but that is, of course, because lots have yet to stop, others have yet to cycle through over the next timing point to get their true positions reflected. But Engel is certainly pushing, and he's going after the Porsche. Bastien Boost then at the wheel of it. Brands Hatch Race 2 winner, Spa 24-hour winner, goes into turn 10. Meanwhile, here, Hesse under attack now because he's got another queue of cars behind him, including Soderstrom in...
He has got past Leclerc, though, hasn't he? We saw that battle going.
Has.
I think he got him on the back straight. We were on board and we cut away, but Leclerc went in super tight, and it just looked like Hesse had sold him the dummy, the bib and the nappy. It was a great move, and I think Hesse now with some clear space, what can he do performance-wise?
Nicky Team, Kobe Pavel's Aston under investigation for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So right now, you've got Dienst ahead of Schiller, Jewis ahead of Marshall, the top 4. All out of bronze. But in terms of the actual race lead scrap, it is going to be Kelvin van der Linde being chased by the Bastien Boost Porsche. And right now, the gap is just slightly widening in favour of the BMW. 8.2 seconds it is.
Yeah, and this lap will see us cycle through the final pit stops. Pit window will close with 25 minutes remaining, so we will then get the 32 BMW back into the lead. And it's where will Dienst, Schiller, Jewis has got that penalty filter in. So those top 2 Mercedes, can they stay inside the top 10 with that longer pit stop we're talking about for the bronze class cars? Why do the bronze class have a longer cars? Because there's an AM getting in the car. They want to make it fair. They want to make sure the driver change is safe, getting the amateur in good time, but making sure all the belts and all the window nets and everything are safely done.
Max Hesse on the attack again, trying to get past the Audi just up ahead of him. That's the car that Christopher Haase started. It's now Simon Reicher at the wheel of it. And Hesse goes for a gap on the inside. It's not quite BMW width, but he is all over the Audi now, like a rash. He's got the drive off the corner. Max Hesse are about to go for the position here against Reicher. Simon Reicher, far less experienced to drive them, and Hesse teed that up nicely. He's got the inside line for turn 11, the kink going down the back straight, the curver, Cavoni, and he's gone through then. So through he goes. Max Hesse picking places back. He could ideally do, of course, with a safety car here to help bunch up, as now the bronze style graded drivers, if you like, those in the Bronze Cup, serve the pit stop. So Dennis Marshall in for Dustin Blattner, and where you've got a high graded driver in a Bronze Cup car, now they've run out of drive time, they're in the pits.
I would love to drive a WRT BMW around here. They have got the thing hooked up, haven't they? Great move from Hesse, but they just get so much drive out the corners, and that's the race car you want. The low-end torque into high speed just makes these overtakes so much easier and so much safer.
Right, we managed to get hold of him. Valentino Rossi's thoughts on the start are coming up.
Yep. Well, Valet, it's not exactly what you wanted from this one. We spoke to you on the grid and it was all looking very positive. What were your thoughts on the penalty, the 10-second penalty you got?
Yeah, I think that I paid the experience to start in the pole position, and I think it's because I was a little bit too much on the right. After the start, and this is the mistake for the penalty. That is a great shape. a great shame. But after that, they touched me on the rear, so I was like a passenger, and I was lucky that I stay straight.
Yeah, I mean,
but with this 10 seconds, we lose the chance to arrive on the podium. Is a shame.
What about the incident itself with the 80, the Porsche behind, with the tagging, the hitting of the Audi there? You did a really good save as well. We can show you again on the screen. You can see it just off to your right here. Talk us through that.
Yeah, the problem is this, that I was too much on the right, and after the start, I think that Feller started better than me, and after touched me on the rear and started the crash.
You did a really good save though. The point there where the Audi came back across you just moved it to the right and managed to avoid that one.
More than a save, lucky.
Lucky, skill. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
So Valentino Rossi then takes it on the chin, accepts that he was partly responsible, and yeah, the more you look at that with him coming from the right-hand side, Ricardo Feller had committed to a gap and suddenly found the gap closing as Valentino Rossi tried to move back to where he should have been over the grid hatchings.
Yeah, amazing humility there from Rossi, and yeah, he admits I'd rather be lucky than good effectively, and that's right. And here's our first track limit penalty. So car 51 has achieved 6 running wides at one of the monitored corners. As you can see, the Mercedes got no headlights, has it lost all power?
It has. So Renat Salikov is at the wheel of the car, taken over from Marvin Dienst. That was leading bronze, but it's got a problem. It's got enough momentum to carry it down the back straight, but Salikov getting out of harm's way. And he's trying to power it up, I think. He's got the side lights on. Now the Lumi rank is back on. I think he's had to do a power cycle, hasn't he?
Be careful, all teams. We have a slow car going through the runoff on driver's right through turn 8.
He's got it going, so Renat Salikov.
And the car is not slow anymore.
It's certainly not slow anymore. He's managed to fire it up, so weird, whatever caused that.
Yeah, it was sparking like the Mercs do through turn 6, but it struck the exit curb really hard, and it almost sent the energy through the car and just turned it off instantly as he hit the exit curb. And those are the normal sparks from the Mercedes that we see, the titanium skid blocks, but I don't know if he's damaged his suspension or something, but that car definitely just turned itself off instantly. That would have been a scary moment. I'm not sure that car is fully back up to the speed because it still looks a bit hard work.
Yeah, it's not quite limp home mode, but you're right, it doesn't look like it's necessarily flat out. This is the Gold Cup leading car of Alex Arca then. Good to have him back and going well. He wasn't at Monza, remember, the endurance round, but it's good that he is here. Alex, another driver who is better, I think, than he gets the credit for, and he's taken over from Dylan Pereira. So this car up front in the Gold Cup right now. And a first gold win of the season in sprint could be heading their way. Silver at the moment is the Mathieu Villagomez Aston from Ignacio Montenegro's BMW. It's all getting very, very crowded on track. We've only got 21 minutes of the race to go, incidentally.
Garage 59 cars are going to get together here. Kirchhoffer behind Louis Pret, and was it the Aston Martin and Villagomez losing a few places there as he's trying to stay with the BMW. 2 cars in front. Those 2 cars are the Garage 59 cars. And this is the interesting part of the race, as it's getting fully dark now. It's hard to see which cars are around you, which class they are, which driver it is, and you suddenly just have to go on your instincts and almost block out any distractions to the side and behind.
Maro Engel's on a push as well, catching Bastien Bus for second place. He's done a purple sector, Maro, on this lap. So the 48 Mercedes third and closing. They're going through his number 30 BMW, which is Ignacio Montenegro. The car that he's chasing is the Villagomez Aston for the lead of Silva. And the Mercedes was a loss of power, reboot, and no further issue. So, bit of a scare for Renat Salikov, but at least he's still going.
Bit of a scare for Marvin Kirchhoff, a huge number of oversteers, 45 degrees pointing to the pit wall, and struggling in the dirty air behind the ever-fastening Louis Pret. Every year getting quicker and quicker. Let's listen in to Kelvin van der Linde in the 32.
Good job on the pace and on the track limit. Will be 15 more laps after this one.
So Charles Wirtz watching on, Kelvin van der Linde in the car, talking to the team and getting the information that he needs. He's 8.9 seconds up the road from Bastien Bus, who, remember, was a long way back in the first stint because he was stuck in that traffic jam of cars. So that they're on target for second place and some points for second place is good news indeed for Lion Speed GP. And in third, it's Maro Engel, who is now only half a second back, so we could yet get a change for second before the end. Now, here, the next battle pack to keep an eye on, heading into turn 10. McLaren ahead of Lamborghini, ahead of Aston Martin.
Kirchhoff has got an issue here. The car is wildly loose for quite a few corners now. Look how much time he's dropped to the back of his teammate, and something is not right for Kirchhoff aboard that 59 Garage 59 McLaren.
This is 13th, 14th and 15th. And while that's been going on, Ignacio Montenegro has managed to get through the traffic and clear Villagomez and go up to 11th and then take the lead of Silver Cup. So Ignacio Montenegro for WRT is on for a class win, potentially in silver now. So good effort that by Montenegro, who took honours in the second race at Brands Hatch as well. This is the battle for second overall. Porsche versus Mercedes. Bastien Bus ahead of Maro Engel.
Felt like we said this for 24 hours at Spa last time out, and yeah, these two cars were at it. It was the Porsche that finished on top out of the two, then winning the race. Maro Engel just seemed to have the slight performance over a lap, but it's marginal, isn't it? It's a 10th, it's a 2/10 gain some laps, but Boost seems to be able to be metronomic. I actually watched a lot of the onboard from this Lion Speed car and Boost in free practice, and they were really prioritising long runs. They obviously wanted to get their race performance in, and Boost seemed to be able to keep the car in a good place, not overwork the tyres or the brakes, and it seems like that's paying dividends now. So their free practice motive to get a fast race car is paying dividends now as they sit in second place.
Quick hat tip for the Audis, because the Attempto car of Alex Arca is 5th overall, and Simon Riker, Christopher Haas's car, that is currently in 8th place, going well. The Audis are always good around here, and they still are, venerable or no. So, second place fight you're looking at. It is Porsche versus Mercedes. It is Bastien Bus ahead of the Mercedes AMG. There it is, of Maro Engel, as ever. A lot of support for Team 48, and Maro Engel, who spent a lot of his early days racing in the UK in Formula 3 and then in Australia in supercars on the attack. Now, has that Porsche got an issue as well? The lights don't seem to be terribly on with that car, and that might end up being called into the pit lane for the officials to make the team actually do something about the illumination. It's got one, it's a rather cycloptic Porsche. I'm trying to see which one it is, but somewhere in there, yeah, it's just about okay. It's got some illumination, but not much.
Yeah, it's the 9 Pure racing car, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah.
It'll be allowed to go as long as that one goes. It's just winking. There's just no headlight there whatsoever. We saw that, didn't we, at Spa with Boots and VDS when they got roughed up by Arjen Guven. So I think it will be allowed to go as long as the other light keeps going. But yeah, that is a battle pack, and this is what you find in GT racing. It's a race within a race, all of these classes, and now it looks like the Porsche can get done round the outside, maybe a bit more contact on the already damaged side for the 9.
The 163 Loris Spinelli Lamborghini has been given assorted penalties for speeding in the pit lane and for a safety car restart infringement, and has now been done again for speeding in the pit lane. We've got others being done for speeding in the pit road as well. Dimitri Gavatsela copping the penalty. So in terms of circuit performance right now, you've got the first sector going the way of Witz and Van der Linde. You've got the final sector going the way of the Jordan Pepper BMW. And the middle sector to number 48 Mercedes AMG. So 3 different cars with the best sector times around the 3 elements of this circuit. Van der Linde leading the way with 15.5 minutes to go, and Bastien Bus 9 seconds back. Maro Engel 0.6 of a second behind him. And this is Jordan Pepper on a mission as ever. He's 9th. It's Simon Riker's Audi ahead, and Simon Riker comes up towards the timing line under huge pressure from Jordan Pepper, defecting from Lamborghini to WRT's BMW squad for this year. Started well with an LNS win at the Nordschleife, making the run now out of turn 3. And in turn 8th and 9th they are. You've got 10th Arthur Leclerc in the Ferrari trying to play catch up as well now.
Yeah, and Hesse's done well, hasn't it? When you look at the WRT BMWs, where they've got to, Pepper the fastest in Sector 3. We saw from that illustration 2 South African drivers taking 2 sectors, and German Engel in the middle. Sounds like a football squad, doesn't it? South Africa 2, Germany 1, and Pepper will want to get rid of the Riker Audi there, but doesn't seem to be able to get anything from him. And this is what we see Dertier, as you see a slow car. I think they're just getting out of the way. It was the commentary Aston Martin getting out of the way of our 2nd and 3rd place cars.
Indeed so. Bastien Bus still in that 2nd spot, but he's not going to catch Kelvin van der Linde, I think, unless Kelvin has a problem, because the opening stint of Charles Wirtz has really been what set them up for this, because he was able to get away early on. Yes, okay, he was able to avoid the incident behind, and that delayed a few people, but he was away and gone, and that team has never looked back.
Yeah, the only thing to add, at the end of the stint, it started going back to Dietz, didn't it? Dietz got the gap under 2 seconds. Are we going to see that again? Does the BMW work its tyres a bit too hard? We're halfway through Van der Linde's stint now, so we're starting to see if that's happening. But as a gap at 9.3 seconds, that's a huge amount in professional GT3 racing, and he won't worry about a tenth or two lost here and there.
Now, in terms of bronze, you mentioned that Marvin Dean's Mercedes, despite Renault Salikov's problems of the car losing all power, he's only 0.2 of a second back from Gabriel Rindone. So Salikov could yet win the class, but you've also got Dustin Blattner charging along behind. So bronze, I think, is going to get really interesting by the end of this. We need to keep an eye on it. As you see here, the second place overall battle, it's still Bastien Bus ahead. Mauro Engel behind him in third spot, coming out of turn 8 then. This little rise up towards 9. And the Mercedes AMG hunting down the Porsche. But Engel is such a savvy driver, he'll make the call now as to whether or not it's worth pushing, worth risking everything for second place, or just bank the points. He knows how to win championships.
Yeah, look at the lead. Kat Van der Linde had the whole back straight, and then this gap is definitely getting smaller. Engel will be working out every time he's going through a corner, which is my strongest, which is the Porsche's weakest, where is my overtaking spot. You have your plan A, your plan B, and then you tend to find a corner where you think this is maybe a high-risk situation, which we're watching now. Look at that, Emil Frey, Ferrari, sweep round the outside. They're going to be 3 wide potentials. They go up the hill into 9 and 10. And
at the head of this is Gabriel Rindone, and this could have quite an impact on what happens in bronze, because in the pack behind one car but one back is Salikov. So Rindone has got the Anthony Bartone Mercedes behind him now, with Aurelien Panis at the wheel of it. But Renat Salikov is in that mix as well. There are cars everywhere as they come towards us then, and this is where it's tough for Rindone to know who he can defend from. Basically, he's just got to be the cork in the bottle. Anything that gets near him, just defend like mad. But Salikov needs to clear the silver Mercedes, and he might actually have his task eased, because Bartone's car, Aurelien Panis, the fiery French driver at the wheel of it, is really on a committed push to get past Rindone.
Yeah, he really is. The purple flashing light shows he's a bronze-graded driver in the car. Apart from Salikov, it's not working. It was actually on for Schiller as well, so there's been maybe an issue with those purple lights. And now Rindone, is he going to have to ease out the throttle to think about the bronze class? I think he would be well suited to roll out of it. Yeah. The two get-speed cars have worked cleverly there to swap positions without losing time.
Yeah, the engineers have said. And look at that, Salikov straight away on the attack. This is his chance. So just as Get-Speed have been advising Rindone of one situation, now they have to say, right, you've let the right car through, but the next pair of headlights are going to take your class lead. Behind is Konsta Lapalainen, who is looking for a way through as well. That's the Pro Cup Emil Frey Ferrari from last on the grid. Salikov does not want to have to worry about what's going on behind. He needs to push, but again, Wynn would need to be on the blower to say you can let the Ferrari go, and I think that Lapalainen's going to have a go down towards turn 8. Let's see, he's alongside Renat Salikov, and he's got the job done, and that Ferrari now getting a bit menacing as well of Gilles Stadsbader, but that's a silver car, so pick your headlights, pick your battle.
Yeah, and we're getting close to the end, aren't we? Just 11 minutes remaining, and that's what Salikov's thinking. He's like, fine, I'll let you guys through, but please just go away and let me catch that Mercedes once more. Salikov looks behind, and now it's another Ferrari, this time Blattner, and that one is for class. So now he needs to get forward again. For me, he's the fastest bronze driver in the top 3 at the moment. Darren Lung as well isn't too far behind Dustin Blattner as well. So 4 bronze cars at the moment, with these 2 pesky Ferraris not for position.
Here they come then towards the hairpin at turn 14. Renat Salikov a bit frustrated now, because the gentlemanly conduct, in a sense, has gone against him. He sort of let the quicker cars by, but Rindone has not, and therefore he's not up with his class rival. There's Dustin Blattner, 3rd in bronze. Listen to his radio.
Okay, Dustin, all good. Those cars behind us for position, Darren and Dawson.
So the message comes that he's got Darren Lung and Charles Dawson behind, so defend from them. There's Renat Salikov, that car going well, but he's under attack, isn't he now? It's got Dustin Blattner right up behind him. Dennis Marshall having done the opening stint in that Blue Castle Racing Ferrari, and under braking, the gap comes down a fraction.
I just want to take a moment to appreciate the coverage we're getting here from the drones. It's easy to get used to this new technology, but it opens up the viewing of this race so brilliantly, and it's obviously a beautiful backdrop here as well. But what a race we've got in this bronze class, and that again is such an important part of GT racing, the multi-class parts. So these cars are fighting for a top 21 position at the moment, but the class is so fierce, and the bronze graded driver is so important to GT racing, and that's why we should give them so much love and respect for what they do.
Yeah, the Bronze Cup has become massively important and competitive, and here's the evidence of it for second place now. Renat Salikov, Dustin Blattner, Darren Lung, Charles Dawson all in a queue, and Gabriel Rindone hanging on to that category lead, hanging on to 21st place ahead of Constelap Alignment and Gilles Stadsbader. If they can work a way past him, then it becomes a different situation. But Salikov, who's another very good bronze, very experienced driver, Renat Salikov, he's in the mix as well.
The problem here, what I predict seeing is Rindone is holding these cars up, and those Ferraris are going to get annoyed. So when they overtake, they're going to make sure that he can't fight back, and they're going to force him out wide and lose Rindone time. So at the moment, it looks like Rindone's got this comfortable, but I think those two Ferraris are going to get past and cause him an issue. I think they've actually got past pretty easily. Luckily for him, he's lost 2. So now we have the bronze cars battle. All 5 of them are going to be nose to tail by the end of this lap.
Right, this is going to be good, isn't it? Just to recap, by the way, still Van der Linde from Boost from Engel. Ben Green now is 4th, in for Thierry Vermeulen. 5th is Alex Arca, and here is the battle between Darren Lung and Charles Dawson, both British GT champions. Charles the reigning champion, so the bronze battle gets ever more combative. It's still Rindone ahead of Salikov, and then Dustin Blattner in 3rd place. 4th is Darren Lung, 5th is Charles Dawson. And they come along the run towards turn 7, that little kick before turn 8 once again. You can see how quickly the light's gone here. It's almost completely dark out there now, and the headlights doing their bit. Yes, there's floodlighting around the circuit, but certain parts brighter than others. BMW looks a big car, doesn't it, in the company of the Ferrari ahead?
Yeah, and Salikov has really caught Rindone here, but all 5 are so similar pace, top level driving. You've got Boccolacci behind them, a pro car in the Porsche, struggling to get past them, showing you the pace that they're going at. And Dawson really going at Darren Lung. Darren Lung seemed to be the quickest out of the 5 potentially a few laps ago, and now I'd say Dawson, the 5th car, is the guy on the move. I think they could have had a bit of contact earlier in this lap. Darren Lung going wide. Is that Dawson getting down the inside? It's not. He thinks better of it. Where's this going to go? It's hard to call. 3 Mercedes, 1 Ferrari, 1 BMW. It's only going to be 1 winner.
There is indeed, and Darren Lung pushing hard as ever. The man behind the Paradigm competition team. Another great shot from the drone as you see the lit stands. People are having the high view, suspended from the crane.
Where'd you go to the toilet up there?
I think you just hold on to it for an hour. If you're concentrating on the race, you don't think about anything else.
What?
Over the timing line goes then that bronze battle. It's still Rindone ahead of Salikov, but that was just 0.299 of a second last time. Gabriel Rindone coming under renewed attack. Renat Salikov, despite the car cutting out on him, has done a good job here of regrouping. And you can see that's Charles Dawson now having to defend, as you say, from the Pro Cup 28th place Porsche of Dorian Boccolacci. It's a long way back. But again, if you don't qualify well here, it can really ruin your day. Fresh session tomorrow. So Rindone still ahead of Salikov, and although it's a modest gap, he's doing the right thing. This, meanwhile, is the race leader, Kelvin van der Linde. This car has absolutely annihilated the opposition in this race.
It really hasn't, and potentially not going to catch any traffic before the end of the race as well. He's got about 14 seconds in front of him until he would start lapping some of the cars, so this could be an easy end of the race. He has lost a second, hasn't he, to Boost behind, but still 8.8. Engel is just at that second gap. That's the dirty air. It's so hard to follow any closer than that for a prolonged period of time, because you do start to work the front tyre too hard and then you drop the pace.
Yellow flag at Marshall sector 13, so there's a yellow in the first sector of the lap. We also think treble 5 has stopped somewhere, which is the CSR Simon Gachet Romain Andriolo McLaren. So we've got a yellow flag, and let's see whether or not that is going to be able to be moved easily. Of course, in the dark, a situation that could be covered by a yellow flag becomes rather more perilous, so safety car may well be put on standby here. Yellow flags are indeed showing turns 13 and 14 now, so it's not quite in the first sector, but that was on the initial display. Right, so 5 minutes are on the clock. It's all still getting very busy within bronze, but actually Rindone has steadied that ship, hasn't he, and started to build the gap.
Attention all teams, full course yellow in 20 seconds.
So full course yellow is coming, says Niels Vitic, and that is to get this car out of the way. It's over at turn 13, and the full course yellow
10 seconds
is imminent.
So no overtaking from 10 seconds, and then you
5,
have to be at
4,
80 when
3,
birthday boy Niels
2,
Vitic gets
1.
to 0.
Full course yellow, full course yellow.
And that's the reason for it. Treble 5 Romain Andriolo in the gravel. and the marshals are quickly there, but it could be that this is going to devour much of the remaining 5 minutes, because I don't think you're going to push that out of there. No. And although we've seen cars drive out of the gravel today, that's showing no evidence of doing so.
No, probably Barry looks like it's got a rear left puncture as well. Can't quite see the tyres. At the front of the Porsche that was missing, the 9 car, well, it was missing a headlight, wasn't it? Looks quite red to me, and maybe Malik can drive over it and reattach it with some skill. Good performance from Misano circuit staff there. This has got a chance. If Neil Butch is happy to call this a short full course yellow and go straight back to green, then we've got a chance here, I think, of maybe a one-lap fight to the end. And that would really be interesting in that bronze class that you can see at the bottom of the timing tower. Rindone still from Salikov, Blacknut, Lung, and a very aggressive Dawson we've seen swinging behind that 991 BMW.
Nervous looking Charles Wirtz there, thinking, well, I want to win this. Don't care whether it's under a checkered flag or a green or a full course yellow or what. I want to win. And now it looks as though the gap's going to come down if we end up with a safety car, but hopefully, because it's so close to a vehicle access point, that can just be hoiked out of the way. But we're down to 3 minutes. Niels Vitic will be looking at his watch, looking at the birthday cake, looking at the pictures as well, trying to assess whether or not he can quickly shout for a green flag to give us 2 racing laps. There is the recovery vehicle. They need to attach that and then hoik it upwards, go backwards. It'll be out of the way, but the clock ticks. It was 5 minutes, wasn't it, when this happened, and it's now 2:45 on the clock. More great shots as you have a look over the environs of the circuit. That's on the outside of turn 10. So everybody at the regulation speed and heading towards turn 13, where Romain Andriolo is off the track, out of the race. So there's number 99 Audi, Alex Arca, the Gold Cup leader, in 5th place overall. 6th behind him is Max Hesse, having taken over from Valentino Rossi. That's where it looks as though the WRT run car is going to end its race. 32 is on target for the win. Silver, by the way, still another WRT success. Number 30, Ignacio Montenegro, and the start driver of that car, Mathis Lismont, the Belgian ex-motocrosser. There it is, there's the BM. Bronze, it's still Gabriel Rindone, who'd quite like this, I think, to stay yellow to the end of the race, and it's looking like it might do, because 1 minute and 39, that's all.
Waiting for Niels Vicic's voice to come back and say we can go green. The 555 McLaren is moving on the GPS tracker, so it's obviously attached, as assumed, so are those diners, to something firm. That man in the near shot leaning over the side gives me some quite big vertigo, but they know they're on TV and they've spotted the drone.
That's a really, really cool way of enjoying it, isn't it? Race chairs, hopefully with seat belts as well, full harness. We're on the last lap, because there's now less than a lap time left in the race for Kelvin van der Linde then, and he's in sector 2 of the lap, so he's almost there now, having started this last lap, and the car is out of the way, but it's going to be back to green if we can to get them to the end. Number 9, the Alex Malikin Max Hofer Porsche, that's got a penalty for track limits, 51, 7th in the race. Matthias Zagazeta, a 5-second penalty for track limits. So they're coming now, late race. So slowly, 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 the BMW comes towards us. And if we do go green, it will be purely to get us to the checkered flag. This will be Wirt's 19th Sprint Cup win. That will equal Dries Van Voor's record, and he's taken 9 of those at Misano's. It'll be a 14th win at Misano for WRT, 10 of the last 12. And WRT about to have 55 Sprint Cup wins, BMW 12. So more impressive numbers racked up by WRT and by BMW in this instance. Charles Wirtz and Kelvin van der Linde are on for the win, and I think it's going to be academic as to whether we go green or not now, because the order, certainly for the race lead, ain't going to change, and Kelvin van der Linde just needs to bring it home. He has effectively won this because of the gap he's got over the opposition, and so inevitable that the race was going to be neutralised like that with the car in the gravel, but Charles Weerts making his way to the top of the pit lane, I'm sure, ready to greet Kelvin van der Linde. And for Charles Weerts, a 19th Sprint Cup win beckons. So, checkered flag is at the ready rather than a green flag, and we're going to end under full course yellow. Number 32, BMW is going to win. It's more success for WRT. The checkered flag is there. Charles Weerts and Kelvin van der Linde win race 1 at Misano, and under full course yellow, Charles could crawl across the line and Kelvin could crawl over the line, savour the moment in the BMW, because there's no argument about that for the win. It does take the sting out of Maro Engel's efforts to get on terms to get past Bastien Bus. So it's going to be Bastien Bus and Ricardo Feller for second place, and it's going to be third for Maro Engel and Lucas Auer. So there is a delighted Charles Weerts, skips across the pit lane, goes to see the team and the family, and the celebrations can begin. So a race win for Kelvin van der Linde and for Charles Weerts. There'll be a very happy Vincent Vos, a very happy Yves Weerts, I'm sure, in there somewhere. The rest of the cars are still trickling home, but it's the same order that we've had really since that full course yellow was called.
Mixed emotions at WRT, 2 wins in the silver class as well as the main, and there is the 30 car going to take the silver win. They've had some serious pace. They're one of those class cars that are punching above. They're almost as quick as a lot of the pro cars, but good result for them and great pace from Montenegro to claim the the fastest part of that race for the silver class as well.
So BMW ahead of Porsche, ahead of Mercedes in pro. Gold, Alex Arca and Dylan Pereira, the winners from, well, we'll wait and see, because Matthias Agazetta second has a time penalty, so we'll see what that's going to do to gold. Silver, we know, is another BMW win. Ignacio Montenegro and Mathis Liesman, the winners from Mathieu Villa Gomez in 34, along with Jamie Day. And third silver, it's going to be Aurelien Panis and Anthony Bartone. And bronze will be Rindone ahead of Salikov, ahead of Blattner, won't it? That was a good battle late race, but a shame that that was never able to resume, really, because it had been so competitive all the way through. But the race comes to an end. And there is the bronze train coming over the timing line, headed by Gabriel Rindone, who I think will be quite relieved about that, because it took some of the pressure off. Let's have a listen then to the radio from 32 BMW.
P1 Vega to Vega. Yes, guys, thank you so much. That was an awesome job. Awesome job.
If I said that was an easy stint for Kelvin van der Linde, I don't mean that rudely in any way, but Charles Weerts set him up beautifully for that. He, with respect, just had to bring it home.
It was all in the start, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They read the lights the best. Charles Weerts went and got it done, kept it clean. And for me, that was all done in the first 250 metres of this race. Of course, clean pit stop, clean stint from Kelvin van der Linde too. But Charles Weerts, for me, with the performance of the race.
So down the pit road comes 32 BMW. Kelvin van der Linde's third sprint win. So, as I was saying earlier on, Charles Weerts has made a habit out of winning not only races in Sprint Cup, but titles as well. But after a pretty fallow period for BMW and for WRT in GT World Challenge Europe, it's starting to look a bit more promising. They've had a couple of WEC successes for BMW this year, which has been great to see as well. But there, the winning car arrives in the pit lane. So the BMW, with the lights are flashing, the Lumi rank giving you the position and the driver's short code. The other class winners we will require at the top end of the pit lane, but the other cars released down to either the Parc Ferme area and or team. Van der Linde going through the processes of switching everything off, unplugging everything, and then eventually getting out of the car. Charles Weerts ready and waiting for him. Two very happy drivers. And you can't argue with what Charles Weerts says. It was a good one. Just dominated it. Nobody got a look in that.
Yeah, fastest lap of the race for this car. Kelvin van der Linde doing that on lap 18, and teammates spend so much time together. They almost become brothers when you spend enough time with each other, and that's why they can be so at one with their company. They don't have to worry about what the other one is thinking, what they need from the car, and that's where the best teammates work and win races so often.
Interesting, though, the way that Charles Wirtz has adapted two different co-drivers in this post-Vantour era, because he was with Dries for so long, Audi, and then BMW, but now it's all somewhat different. There, Alex Arca and Dylan Pereira. Alex with his helmet on, Dylan not. They are your Gold Cup winners. So bittersweet also, isn't it, for Attempto Racing, Alex Arca's father's team. One car badly damaged before turn one, the other winning its class. Yeah, I assume he has the visor up when he's driving at night. And yeah, Alex Arca super happy with that, shushing the crowd, all the haters out there, it would seem. But yeah, another strong performance for the Audi from Attempto Racing. Yeah, Alex Arca always a quick driver, always one to watch. So Charles Wirtz getting himself dressed, and we'll have a word with him in a moment, because Nina Jade Paul is with Charles Wirtz and Kelvin van der Linde, race winners at Misano.
Yes, congratulations are in order. An extremely calm and controlled race from you both. I mean, Charles, you navigated your way through that chaotic start and brought it home to P1.
Yeah, for sure. Start was quite chaotic, as you said. I was also quite pissed after my quality this morning. Was not so great for my side. I wanted to make it up for it. So yeah, obviously really happy to have put everything together. Obviously, you need a bit of luck also at these starts, you know, with so many cars. But yeah, at the end, I'm happy it worked out well for us. And then Kelvin did a great job to just bring the car home. And yeah, really happy about this win. And yeah, tomorrow is another day, so hopefully we can score the same amount of points.
I mean, like Charles said, Kelvin, you needed a little bit of luck, but you know how to win races, you know how to win championships. You are the current sprint title defenders. How good does this win feel?
It feels particularly good because I think we've had a tough season, at least the start of the season, so we're hoping we can turn things around from now on. So that's the goal. He did a great job on the race, made it easy for me. So yeah, hopefully I can do the same tomorrow.
And Charles, this is your 19th Sprint Cup win. Does the feeling ever get old?
No, never. I mean, to be fair, it's been a long time since I got this 19th from between since the 18th. So no, it never gets old. And yeah, obviously the level just keeps on raising. And yeah, every time we can be on the first step, we are obviously very happy. So hopefully we can make another 19th.
Congratulations to you both.
Thank you so much.
Well done, Charles Wirtz and Kelvin van der Linde. Well done, WRT as well. Quite often we talk about how they win on the strategy, how they win on good pit stops, but that was just on pure pace, but helped arguably by the dramas off the start. Once that car had hit the front, absolutely no stopping them. Well done also to Dylan Pereira and Alex Arca, 5th Gold Cup winners. They're with Bryn Lucas.
Well, what a race that was. Let's start with yourself, Dylan, because you had to deal with everything that was going off ahead of you at the start.
Yeah, definitely. So I just took a good start, and then I just had to brake, and like 3 cars in front of me were spinning, so I just tried to find my way. At the end, yeah, luckily nobody touched me, and I could just continue without any damage. So, and yeah, after that, trying to keep up with the guys. Yeah, we got before the race 20 kilos in the car, so we could feel it quite a lot. Yeah, at the beginning of the car, the stint, the car was quite slow, so it was really tough. The car balance was changing also, and then when the car gets lighter, it was getting better and better. So yeah, quite happy that we finally finished the race, because yeah, I think we deserved it, because we were always there on pace, and yeah, it just we never finished until now. So really happy that we finished.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, very quick word for you. You don't drive with that visor down, do you? That dark visor.
Yeah, I'm actually not too fine with the light. This is why I'm also looking away from the camera. No, jokes aside, I just put it down in order to hide a bit of my joy, you know. So yeah, it's been a hard couple of months, couple of races. I think we finished it on a high just now, just before the break and the race tomorrow. I think we also go for it. Yeah, and this is something we deserved, we as the team. So I'm really happy for everyone.
Go and release the joy on the podium. Well done.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, Alex Arca, as he says, it's been a tough time for myriad reasons, but a great result, and well done to Attempto Arca's team that runs these Audis. And as we keep on saying, in the right hands, they are still competitive bits of kit. Honours in silver to Ignacio Montenegro and Mathis Lismont.
Yes, I'm with Mathis and Ignacio. Your 2nd win of the season. Congratulations. It looked like quite a straightforward race.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a really nice victory, especially for me, to be honest, because it's been one of the most difficult weekends of my career, to be honest. Yeah,
something about life, let's say. But I'm really happy for these results. Also for Mattis, he has been helping me a lot this week. He's a really good teammate. I'm really enjoying this year with him. So yeah, more points for the championship. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, more points for the championship. And Matisse, what does this do for your momentum, especially for tomorrow and of course the rest of the season?
Well, I think our momentum is insanely strong for the moment. Only missing out on one podium out of endurance and sprint, which was Monza. But yeah, I'm super happy. This was one of, I think, the most important victories. As you said, we were quite struggling a little bit this week. But then to just put it all together for the race, I'm very, very happy with our performance. Just letting it sink in a bit, because I don't know why, but this one it's special for a reason. I don't know. We started P3 in class, which, okay, it's not bad, but it's not the best for us. And we just drove a very clean race, very good pace. Yeah, just very happy with the results overall. Pit stop was on point as well by the team. So yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better race this today. And we just continue for tomorrow, and we try our best again tomorrow. New race.
I mean, it is an incredibly competitive class, so enjoy this win, guys.
Thank you.
Ignacio Montenegro having a really impressive first season in GT racing, coming from touring cars, from TCR, and another good result for him. We've also got bronze winners. Gabriel Rindone and Fabian Schiller survived the contact to win their class.
Well, Fabian, let's start with you. You had all of that mayhem to start with at the very beginning of the race. You had to pick your way through and came out unscathed.
Yeah, it was a pretty chaotic start. I don't really know what happened behind me or on the right-hand side of the grid, because I had my eyes forward. But yeah, we had a pretty decent start, then the contact. And yeah, from then onwards, we were in a tight fight with the Windward bronze car. Eventually, I think they had a little bit of issue, which brought us into the lead. And then, yeah, Gabi just had to finish it off. It was a tough race for us because the car was pretty hard to drive after the contacts at the start. We had some damage, but Gabi did very well to keep it on the track and defend the position. And then, yeah, finishing P1 today is obviously a great start to our sprint campaign this year.
Certainly is. Well, Gabi, let's come to you, because apart from the VSC at the end, where you could just bring the car home, you had immense pressure on your shoulders, a train of cars behind you, pushing you all the way. You couldn't make a single mistake.
No, it was, well, first of all, the pro cars, which were coming behind. And then, like Fabi said, the Windward car, which was right there fighting, and he was also having his fights. But we had a bit of an issue, as Fabi said, with the heating of the rear tire. But it was a good fight. It was fun, hard fight, but happy about the result.
And it's a great way to start the season. It gets that confidence exactly where you need it for tomorrow.
Yeah, really much. Can't be more happy than this.
Go and celebrate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So Fabian Schiller and Gabriel Rindone taking honours in bronze. And that's, of course, the first time that we've had the Bronze Cup within sprint this year. They weren't at Brands Hatch due to the nature of the lack of garages. They just couldn't get the cars onto the entry list, so their championship beginning here this weekend. And we said there was a big party at Misano. Well, it's already started. We heard on the grid from the band that's going to be playing, Planet Funk, and there they are in action with a huge crowd already assembled, and I suspect more to come now that on-track action has finished. Joe Osborne's already fled the booth, ready to go start his own party down there as well. Drivers in the meantime, though, have got the podium to go to, and they're heading in that general direction right now. So we'll be able to see the winning drivers very shortly at the end of a race dominated by WRT. We haven't had that for a while, that level of domination from them, but they've looked really, really impressive in that race. And both Charles Weerts for that 19th win and Kelvin van der Linde deserve the success. Charles Weerts and Kelvin van der Linde then are the race winners, from Ricardo Feller and Bastian Buus. Third, Lucas Auer and Mauro Engel ahead of Thierry Vermeulen and Ben Green, who sort of flew under the radar a bit to get fourth. Fifth, Dylan Pereira and Alex Arca. Sixth, Valentino Rossi and Max Hesse. Then Amaury Cordial and Jordan Pepper in seventh. Christopher Hausser and Simon Riker. Eighth from Thomas Neubauer and Arthur Leclerc. And then 10th for Mathis Lismont and Ignacio Montenegro to win again in silver. Fabian Schiller and Gabriel Rindone confirmed as the bronze winners as well, after a very good effort. And yet again, a few teams with a lot of midnight oil to burn. And as it's 10:15, they're not far off midnight already. But the winning drivers for the podium at the end of a busy hour of action here at Misano. Big disappointment for Andrea Frasinetti, involved in that skirmish on the way to the first corner that took him out of the race, and did also for the hopes of Daniel Cadea and Jules Gounon. Mauro Engel getting dressed, as it were, putting his overalls back up. Drivers having had a little bit of fresh air, but now needing to look right for the podium. And we'll get the drivers brought forward very shortly indeed. So we have, I think, our top 3 teams for the overall podium ready and waiting. So to the podium they will be called. Many of the fans still waiting for the podium, others then heading through the paddock and off to go and join the party, get to the concert, others heading for home, and another full day of action because we've got racing from GT3 again tomorrow in GT World Challenge Europe, plus GT4, plus GT2, plus McLaren Trophy. So a busy weekend here for GT fans in Italy. Right, I think we are just about good for our first drivers to make their way to the podium, and it is going to be Lucas Auer and Mauro Engel who step forward first for their third place finish. And more points in the championship, and of course it's not just sprint, it's also the combined championship that they're thinking about. So well done to Mauro Engel and Lucas Auer for third place. For second onto the podium then now come Bastien Bus and Riccardo Fella. And then our race winners, Kelvin van der Linde and Charles Weerts for Team WRT, represented, as you see, on the podium. And the Belgian driver Charles Weerts, the South African driver Kelvin van der Linde head to the podium. Sprint Cup win 19 for Charles Weerts, and there Jules Gounon never got to drive in the race, but fair play, he stayed around to cheer his rivals as they come to the podium. So for Team WRT, for Charles Weerts and Kelvin van der Linde, the Belgian national anthem plays, and the drivers then now await their trophies, courtesy of Pirelli. And Matteo Braga makes the trophy presentation to third place Lucas Auer and Mauro Engel, then to Bastien Bus and Riccardo Fella. So one Sprint Cup win, an endurance win, and now also, of course, this second place, so more points as well, thinking for the long-term overall championship, in which you combine the endurance and sprint results. There, Kelvin van der Linde and Charles Weerts, with their trophies, are very happy indeed as they celebrate atop the podium. And very shortly we will have, of course, the gold and the silver and the bronze podiums, but for the Pro Cup drivers, photographs to be taken. And as they look forward, the SRO team have the photographs that it requires, and then the champagne is sprayed. So BMW, Porsche, Mercedes, AMG, the top 3. After that, Ferrari, Audi, BMW, BMW. Then Audi, Ferrari and BMW. We didn't really touch on Lamborghini, but Patrick Niederhauser and Luca Angela 11th, and the best McLaren 12th, which was the Louis Pret and Tom Fleming entry. Mauro Engel and Lucas Auer spotted somebody or a family in the crowd, so busy waving. They are currently third in sprint behind Charles Weerts and Kelvin van der Linde, but it's still Riccardo Fella and Bastien Bus ahead, but only by half a point now, after Leclerc and Thomas Neubauer fourth ahead of Jordan Pepper and Amory Cordial. This is overall, so it doesn't matter what class you're in, you score points for where you finish in the outright positions rather than just in your class. So half a point, Riccardo Fella and Bastien Bus have the advantage. And if Valentino Rossi is feeling blue, then he's got tomorrow to try and turn things around. Right, that's the overall podium, I think, pretty much done. Those drivers will make their way back to their teams, and then we will have the Gold Cup next. And that has changed a little because of Louis Pret and Tom Fleming getting second ahead of Matthias Zagazetta's Ferrari. He got that penalty late race. So it is still Zagazeta and Mosca ahead in the championship from the non-scoring Romain Andriolo and Simon Gachet now. And then third, Louis Pret and Tom Fleming ahead of Arthur Rougier and James Kell. Fourth, Dylan Pereira and Alex Arca. Fifth with that victory. And sixth, Loris Spinelli and Mattia Michelotto, who had a rather tough race with assorted penalties coming for speeding and for safety car infringements as well. So to the podium they will come for Garage 59. Louis Pret and Tom Fleming make their way forward. Already there, Matthias Zagazeta and Tommaso Mosca. And then the Tresor Attempto racing team represented on the podium. The Audi team managed to battle through to take the class win, and it is going to be Alex Arca and Dylan Pereira who step forward. There is Stefano Telli arriving to greet and congratulate Arkin Arca. Massive enthusiast is Arkin. He made his name really winning in Carrera Cup Germany, but has been a mainstay of this paddock for the best part of a decade, if not more. Alex Arca, Dylan Pereira winning gold. Trophies are going to be presented by Matteo Braga from Pirelli, and Tommaso Mosca and Matthias Zagazeta will be the first drivers to receive them. Third place. Then the Garage 59 McLaren drivers, Louis Pret, Tom Fleming. Tom, a happy man on that podium. It was here a couple of years ago. He had a big accident and did himself quite a bit of harm. Was out of action for a month or so with injuries to his back, but he's come back fighting and gets better and better every time you see him. He's raced in WEC as well as GT World Challenge of late, and the lessons learned making him a very complete driver indeed. So he's doing a very impressive job these days, is Tom Fleming. And there, Alex Arca and Dylan Pereira, the Luxembourgish driver, scoring honours in their class.
Stay all together really close on the podium. Also the team representative. You can look downstairs in front of you.
So
show your trophies.
Drivers being encouraged to step forward to have their photos taken. In the background, I can hear Jacob Ebury's voice, the ace photographer, commanding the drivers to do what he wants for his photograph. And once they're done, Jacob just disappears, not hanging around to get wet with champagne, vanishes like a phantom into the night. Alex Arca savouring the moment with the Attempto team that always seems to have bittersweet races. Some really tough knocks, but when they have the successes like Monza, like here, then they know how to party hard. In silver, championship being led by Mathis Lismont and Ignacio Montenegro from Mikey Porter and Guillermo Oliveira, who had a calm race in that. Jamie Day and Matthew Villagomez third, from Jeff Mackiels and Gilles Stoutsbader in fourth. Aurelien Panis and Anthony Barton are ahead of Maxime Robin and Gaspar Simon for sixth. The silver podium will be next. Another victory for WRT. So the winning drivers heading to the steps. Misano taking a deep breath, at least as far as the circuit is concerned, whereas it's getting very busy in the paddock with the party, but fans starting to drift for home. one of the good things about these very hot temperatures, even if you say late into the evening, there's still no real desire to get home and have a change of climate, because it's still pleasant conditions to be out in. A beer might help, but you never know. So then, the Silver Cup drivers are just about ready, and first up, Aurélien Panis and Anthony Bartone for Get Speed take third place in the class. Second place, Mathieu Villagomez and Jamie Day, the quick Brit. In Valkenhorst's Aston Martin, they take second. But it is another WRT top step. The team is on the podium represented already. And the drivers are Mathis Lismont and Ignacio Montenegro. They step forward as Silver Cup winners for the second time this season. They won last time out at Brands Hatch. And they are victorious here at Misano as well. For Team WRT then, Mathis Lismont and Ignacio Montenegro are winners. Andrea Albani, the managing director of the Misano World Circuit, steps forward with the third place trophies for Aurélien Panis, and Anthony Bartone standing to his right. At the other end of the podium, Jamie Day and the bespectacled Mathieu Villagomez, and it's Ignacio Montenegro and Mathis Lismont on that top step of the podium. Quite a good combination they have made thus far. Mathis Lismont, a class winner in the past in the Zolder 24 Hours, came out of motocross, then into the Fun Cup in order to start learning about racing. He's had a spell in Belcar as well. Ignacio Montenegro, TCR South America champion, TCR Spain Winter Series champion. He won the gold medal at the Motorsport Games as well, going back a couple of years. So Ignacio Montenegro switching discipline, but with great success. And for the WRT team, a second victory, this time in silver, to back up the outright victory that they've had. Right, so people huddle together for photographs. And that is still the ultimate view. Quite how you get down, I'm not sure. They might still be there for breakfast, but it's been quite a view. I think it is coming down now, isn't it? Back down to terra firma. Next year we must go and investigate that, I reckon. It's quite a view, and it's quite an impressive idea that the circuit have had. So, congratulations to our silver winners. Success in silver at Misano to Mathis Lismont and Ignacio Montenegro. And so that will mean the bronze podium rounds us out, and this is how we stand in the championship. Remember, this is the first race in bronze in sprint. Gabriel Rindone and Fabian Schiller ahead then with that win over Rinat Salikov and Marvin Dienst, with Dustin Blattner and Dennis Marshall in third. Of course, the championship is effectively the race result. So Darren Lung and Augusto Farfus next from Charles Dawson and Kian Jewis. Peter Dempsey having his GT World Challenge Europe debut, sixth with Eddie Cheever for Ziggo Sport Tempesta Racing, ahead of Marco Puccini and David Fumanelli. Peter Dempsey, who had a long layoff from single-seater racing, won the Walter Hayes Trophy, won in Formula Ford in the UK, went to America, ran out of money, but as a the driver grading that he's got has been brought back into the fold of late, and reminding people just how good he is. So his current driver grading is standing him in very good stead, and a good result as the bronze podium awaits then. We wait for the drivers. There's the concert in full swing. So Dennis Marshall, Dustin Blattner make their way to the podium. Third place in race one of the weekend. For second spot there, Marvin Dienst and Rinat Salikov, despite the travails that Rinat had when the car cut out on him with that electrical gremlin, they still got second. And for a race win, it is going to be the Team Dubai Get Speed entry for Gabriel Rindone and Fabian Schiller. They make their way to the podium. Gabriel Rindone for the top step. So well done, Fabian Schiller and Gabriel Rindone. Had that race stayed green, it may have been a different situation, but we will never know. Trophies there to Dustin Blattner. Dennis Marshall recovering from that 5-place grid drop for the incident that Dennis had in the qualifying session this morning. Then the trophies for the second-place team at the other end of the podium to Renat Salikov and Marvin Deans. Remember, that's another team that's had its dramas this year. Remember the car being absolutely annihilated in that late race accident we had at Monza. But for the Get Speed team, there is the team's trophy, Get Speed Team Dubai, which is where Gabriel Rindone is based these days. He has had a cosmopolitan life, having been, I think I'm right in saying, been born in France, a Luxembourg resident, lives in London, married to a French actress, but has now relocated to Dubai. So he's gone all over the place, and that's where the Dubai link comes within the entrance. So, last photographs to be done, and congratulations to our class winners. That's the bronze podium and a first win for Get Speed Team Dubai in that iteration of the team's name. Race 1 at Misano had Valentino Rossi on pole position, and it began with a bang, literally, as Andrea Frassinetti's slow starting Audi was turned around. It annihilated Danny Hunkadea's Mercedes as well, and led to an early safety car period. Rossi somehow got away relatively unscathed, Hunkadea less so, and his car, like the Audi of Frasinetti, out before turn 1. And Vincent Voss in the WRT garage could only watch in horror as he saw the chance of a win slip away, and indeed other cars out of his fleet be badly damaged. In the end, though, it was 32 of Charles Wirtz that came through as the race-leading car, and he got away as others battled behind. And on the resumption of the race, Wirtz built an impressive gap as Marvin Dees was second, fending off the Fabian Schiller Mercedes. When the pit window opened, everybody cycled through as rapidly as possible with a new set of tyres, and then Salikov, having been leading in bronze, suddenly had the car cut out. Power failure, but he was able to reboot it, restart it and carry on and take second in bronze. Bronze became one of the best battles late race, but so did the fight for second. But then we had a full course yellow to round things out when Romain Andriolo dropped his McLaren into the gravel, and that meant it would be a race win for Kelvin van der Linde and for Charles Wirtz, Charles' 19th Sprint Cup success. A very happy Charles Wirtz with Kelvin van der Linde winning here at Misano.